I would never leave.
I'm very solitary confined. I find myself dealing with time. Now that you're dealing with time. Dealing with time.
Dealing with time. Just dealing with time. Stay on my mind.
Welcome back to the show. The number to the show is 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Fantastic, freaky, funny football Friday to you. Once again, no show on Monday. Taking a little vacay for Memorial Day. I couldn't even remember which one it was. I always get them confused. Memorial Day or Labor Day. But Memorial Day is this Monday, so no show Monday. We'll be back bright and early Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here on WSME. 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougsstewartshow.com. Have you checked out Southern Edge's sweet tea? If you haven't, you should. It's not sweet tea unless it's SE. Go to sunsetcorners.com and search Southern Edge Sweet Tea, and it'll pop up. Once again, Southern Edge Sweet Tea is started by my cousin Ashley Stephen Scott. Been working on it for over a decade, and finally got it to a point where it's being distributed nationally. You can get it in Georgia. So go online, based on whatever state you're in, or whether they can have it, you can have it shipped to you. So go to sunsetcorners.com, search and find Southern Edge Sweet Tea. You will absolutely love it. All right. And when they ask you how'd you hear about it, there's a part where they ask you how you heard about it. Put in TDSS and let them know that's where you heard about it from. The Westgate Las Vegas Superbook installed Golden State as a 260 favorite, a minus 260 favorite, with Cleveland at plus 220. All right. So let me give you that in layman's terms. A $100 bet on the Warriors would win you $38.46. Did you hear what I just said? You have to put down 100 to win 38. The same bet on the Cavaliers would win you $220. Okay, so that'll let you know how big of a favorite that the Golden State Warriors are in this thing. Stations Casino open odds on the Cavs Warriors finals on Wednesday at Golden State minus 220, Cleveland plus 180 with $10,000 limits. That's another thing that Vegas does. They put these limits on there, so if something crazy were to happen, they got it all figured out to a T where they're just not going to have to just close the doors to the damn building. The odds were up to the Warriors minus 330, Cavs plus 250 on Thursday afternoon. Golden State was a minus 20,000 favorite against the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round of the postseason, minus 10,000 against the Utah Jazz in the second round, and minus 1,600 to win against the San Antonio Spurs. So these odds are obviously much, much lower than any other series that they've had in the playoffs this year. 20,000 favorite against the Portland Trail Blazers. That literally means if you put down $1,000 on the Golden State Warriors or the Portland Trail Blazers, I believe this is right. It always gets kind of confusing. If you put down $1,000 on the Portland Trail Blazers to win that series against Golden State, and they did, you walk away with $20K. That's right, $20K. Golden State's Kevin Durant opened as favorite to be NBA Finals MVP on Wednesday at William Hill, the first Nevada sports book to offer odds on Finals MVP. I wonder why one guy over another, and I guess you have to put one guy over another. slightly better odds. So he has just probably slightly better odds than LeBron James, slightly better odds than Steph Curry, slightly better odds than Klay Thompson or Draymond Green, which Draymond and Klay probably won't win it based on how they played this year. But Kevin Durant opened as favorite to be the NBA Finals MVP. And I think that kind of goes back to one of the questions that Stewie's asked in the chat room, like who's going to guard KD? Who's going to guard KD? That's going to be an issue. That's going to be kind of like the chess match that Tyronn Lue is going to have to play in these series. Durant is listed at 7-5, followed by Steph Curry at 8-5 as far as the Finals MVP. James, who's won the NBA Finals MVP 3 times, is next at 2-1. The NBA Finals begin June 1st, once again, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. The Warriors are a 7-point favorite at Westgate in that first game. All right, so what are your thoughts? 404-382-0338. You can also email me at doug@thedougstewartshow.com. Let me jump in the chat room and read some of your messages. This is hour number 2. This is hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show. At the bottom of the hour, we got entertainment. We'll talk a little bit of entertainment and birthdays. From Cornelia Small in the chat on Spreaker.com says, Cavs need to get Derek Fisher, Shaq, and the real AI to come troll Matt Barnes and JaVale McGee and Andre Iguodala. It's going to take something like that, trying to get under their skin or whatever. Tommy Wildfire Rich, looks like a new name in the chat room. What up, Tommy Wildfire Rich? He says, Tyronn Lue has been scheming all year for the Warriors, Doug. We will be fine. I guess he's a Cleveland Cavalier fan. By the way, Kerr is from South Carolina. Steve Kerr is from South Carolina? Hold on a second. Let me take a second to look this up. Steve Kerr. I can't think of any other Kerr you're talking about. Steve Kerr was born in Beirut, Lebanon. Right. Steve Kerr wasn't born in Beaufort, South Carolina, anywhere else from South Carolina. Steve Kerr's from Beirut, Lebanon. Maybe he's talking about something different. From Clay Toe Jam Davis. Sydney, once again, stop giving the facts. You know Doug doesn't like facts when it goes to against his narrative. That's not true. From T-Dub, damn, they got me in here backpedaling. Doug Stewart. From Montana Jones, NBA been around for 73 years and 4 teams have total of 44 championships. So there's never been parity in the NBA. That's a lie. Yes, the Boston Celtics have dominated. The Los Angeles Lakers have dominated for many years, but there's more parity. Of course, there have been dominant teams. There have been more parity seemingly in the past as compared to now. Why is that a narrative now? I don't remember that being a narrative. A part of the conversation about how lopsided and how, talent strong or laden a couple of teams are in comparison to the rest of the league. See, these are the people making this argument, and I'm looking at T-Dub's profile pic here, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Okay, I thought we were going to have to suspend your ass for showing a darn camel toe. But this is the conversation from people that are fans of Steph Curry in particular, not really Golden State, but Steph Curry, because I know a lot of y'all are, or the Golden State Warriors, or LeBron James, or the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yes, there's always been dominant teams in the NBA. I'm not disagreeing with you on that. But it's clearly a topic of discussion more so now than it has ever been in the past that I remember, or at least in the last 40 years. Period. It's been more competitive. Yes, at the end of the day, you'd have the Lakers in the finals and the Celtics in the finals a lot, but getting to that point was much more competitive. 24-1 with 2 teams that made it to the NBA finals has never been done before. You can't deny that. That's never been done before. You think that's a coincidence? No, it is not. It is not as competitive right now in the NBA. Clearly, based on the record of these 2 teams in the playoffs and getting to the finals consecutively 3 years in a row than it has been in the past. That's just a fact. From Looseneck Enville, band director side, Deron Williams played well for my Mavs. He just stayed injured. He had several 30-point games. He's related to a friend of mine, and my cousin played high school ball with him. Glad he gets to play for a ring, but he ain't going to get it going against the Warriors. And sadly, I think I agree with you. From Sandman, we have to remember that there was no free agency back then like there is now. If organizations like the Celtics draft well and make strategic trades to put a team together better than the other teams, I'm cool with that. That's a level of playing fields. But when you have players purposely stacking 2 or 3 teams because they can, that's different. Give that man a round of applause. And he's 100% right. It's different now. And the way that these guys assemble these great teams is different. Now, I will say this. I never really had a problem with Golden State when they won their first title because you know why? They drafted those players. There's something different about a team that they actually put together and they grew together and they went on to win these titles as compared to what happened this past year when Kevin Durant joined them. I never really had a problem with Golden State and their team. I think that Steph Curry got a lot of love the first time he won the MVP. But, whatever. He played phenomenal. He's a great player, maybe the greatest shooter that we've ever seen in our life. The real issue I had with them was when Kevin Durant went and joined them. Then it kind of took a little bit of air out of the balloon for me as far as the Golden State Warriors. But that's a very good point. KC, they need people to bet on KD because most people are betting on LeBron. From ducking and dodging, the Cavs defense isn't good. From Sidney Jackson, damn, I just read a stat that said on LeBron's team will be an underdog for the 4th time in the finals. Yeah, he's been an underdog. I thought it was more than 4 times. He's been 7 times in a row. He went 8 times total. I think that he's been the underdog. 4 might be the number. For some reason, 6 was sticking in my mind. From Loose Neck, Ninjaville band director Cy. He says, Beirut, South Carolina, same thing. No, not the same thing. From Thorny Switch, because nobody likes winners now. Our society has changed since the 80s. Nobody likes winners now. I don't know if that's actually the case. From KC, how many times did Jordan play a Game 7? From Sidney Jackson, Doug, if Kawhi hadn't gotten hurt, Golden State would have lost a game or 2 this year. Last year, OKC had them lousy bums down 3-1 and blew it. This year, maybe the outlier. We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, as much as I wanted Cleveland to win that championship last year, when they were down 3-1, I didn't think they had a chance to come back and win it. I mean, nobody did. I think even the numbers bear that out. The percentages bear that out that no way the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to come back from 3-1 and win that championship last year. They did it. We've seen some real miraculous things over the last couple of years, to be honest with you. Who did I see? Somebody was talking about, and we're going to get to it here in a second, with the Richard Sherman story for the Seattle Seahawks. And there's a story out there. Once again, we'll touch upon it more in a second. But there's a story out there that Richard Sherman and the Seattle Seahawks have been bumping heads this summer. And there's been this talk about trading him because he's still pissed off of what happened in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. All right? And then throwing the ball when it was 1st and goal on the 1-yard line and having Marshawn Lynch as a running back. And I remember at the time when that happened, man, I just kept saying to myself, this is going to be hard to get past. Those guys on defense are very, very passionate. But there's been a lot of crazy, championship series over the last couple of years, championship games over the last couple of years. That one in particular. There's no way the Seattle Seahawks should have lost that game to the New England Patriots. The Patriots got 2 Super Bowl rings that, in all likelihood, if you could go back and look at percentages at the time when the Seahawks had the ball on the 1-yard line, 1st and goal in the Super Bowl, there's probably a 90+% chance that they were going to win the game, right? If you go back and look at the percentages of the Atlanta Falcons being up 25 points in the Super Bowl this past year, and somehow the Patriots came back and win. At that time when they were up 25 points, what would you guess? 98? 99? I think they even flashed the number across the screen. It was a 99.